Just outside of Little Rock and Scott, you'll find the tallest Native American mounds in Arkansas, Toltec Mounds Archeological State Park. Let's explore the mystery of the culture that inhabited this area from 650 to 1050 AD.
So the name of Toltec Mounds is a funny story. There was a landowner by the name of Miss Knapp in the late 1800s, and she thought that there was a connection between the people that built these mounds and the Toltec people of Mexico. And there was no such connection, but the name definitely stuck, and so it's still around today.
So tell us about the culture of the people, the Native Americans that lived here.
So archaeologists refer to these people as the Plum Bayou culture. We don't know what they called themselves, obviously, because there's no written records here. So the only way we know about these people is through archaeology. And so they named them the Plum Bayou culture after a local stream nearby, the Plum Bayou. And what they did here was amazing. They held tons of ceremonies, they lived their lives, they built these mounds, and it's a great story.
So there were 18 mounds here.
Yes, there were a total of 18 mounds here at Toltec. You can only see 3 original standing mounds today. And the reason is because in the late 1800s there was farming that came through. Farmers don't like hilly land, they like flat land for their crops. So they had to eat and they plowed through a lot of the shorter mounds here. But you can still see a lot here at Toltec.
Do we know what happened to the people that lived here? Where did they go?
So it's a mystery as to where these people went. We don't know if they split up after they left here in 1050 AD or not. They might have left in many different groups and became the historic tribes that we know of today that are still around, but we're not sure. The mystery remains.
So do you have dinosaurs here?
No, that's actually paleontology, not archaeology.
If you're out in the wilderness and you happen to find yourself in a stranded situation without food and you need to survive, you can rely on nature, as in knowing which bugs are edible. Now, in many countries, eating bugs is actually a delicacy, but in this country, not so much.
Well, today we are going to get a chance to eat a bug if you want to. Now, probably already I can probably get some of your reactions. Like, what's your first reaction if I'm going to say, hey, you're going to eat a bug today?
At DeGray Lake Resort State Park, a popular summertime presentation is the Edible Insects Program.
Maybe not everybody does. But some of these, what I want us to do next is we're just going to spend just a few minutes and we're going to find some bugs.
So why are bugs considered a gourmet delicacy in other countries?
To use them as a nutrient source, as a food source, either in place of some things or just because that's what's available. And we'll get into some of their different dishes and cuisines from around the world in just a little bit. But one of the first things I want to do right now is go over maybe it's one of the reasons why they might choose to eat. The ambiguous they, the people around the world, would choose to eat some of these insects, and that is for their nutritional value.
Now, to ease the gross factor, the bugs that participants are given to eat are actually dehydrated and flavored.
These are larvettes, these are mealworm larvae. So these have been baked and everything. It had a Mexican spice put on them. All right, so you want to be first, my man? How is it?
Good.
It's good? Yeah, not much to it, right? So if you really look at them, you can even still see the little legs on them. Crunchy. Okay, who's next? Who's next? Just come up here and you can grab one. Free for all. That one's spicy.
Joey, bring it over here so I can see it. Good job.
Wait, Sam, we gotta wait in line.
Let me see.
That was spicy.
I'm looking for one with a lot of spice.
I thought you were gonna say look for one with a lot of legs.
How's it taste? Grab two.
It's first, read it. You want one, Jamie?
Anybody else? Yeah. I say there's still more. There's still more.
We'll try this one.
You chose yours.
Get you that one right there.
It's like it's dehydrated. It just tastes like dehydrated.
Two pieces there.
I don't know, like they're good.
just kind of a little crunch, right? It just tastes like the flavor. So that's kind of the point I was.
Like a topping on a salad.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at with a lot of those different dishes from around the world. They taste like the flavors they put on them.
Give Daddy?
Oh my gosh, I do! I kind of like that.
You like it? Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah. These are probably good because I'll have to open it.
Can I have a whole package?
Like fried okra. Those who ate a bug were entitled to become official members of the I Ate a Bug Club.
My favorite part, of course, is at the start. Have you ever eaten a bug? Just kind of get that right out there. You usually get the ew, gross. It's all the kids and sometimes even the parents are kind of say that too. And then by the time we get to the end, you've kind of relaxed them a little bit, saying, "Oh, these things aren't that bad. People all over the world do this." And then when they actually try, they're like, "Oh, that wasn't that bad." Just that little attitude change is that really makes it worth it, because that can be applied to so many other things we do here at the park.
Now these insects, of course, they're specifically grown, specifically made to be ingested. But what are some, if you were in a situation like, in the wilderness and you had to eat some bug, what are some bugs that you are kind of safe?
Well, obviously I would avoid anything like the centipedes, millipedes, things like that that might have a toxin. Avoid your any of the stinging insects, bees and wasps, because you never know if you're allergic or not. Things like crickets, grasshoppers, katydids, all the cicadas that are currently coming out right now, especially before they molt and become adults, they can have a whole lot of nutrition in there. Things like termites are packed with energy. So if you find a good termite mound, you can really dig in.
Yeah, right.
Worms.
Earthworms.
Yeah, earthworms.
Yeah.
I tend to stick to actual insects, but of course whenever we're talking about things like this, it's, all the creepy crawlies are just kind of all looped in there together. But yeah, your earthworms, avoid any fuzzy caterpillars or any of the spiky ones. But if it's pretty smooth, you can probably be okay with them. Avoid stink bugs. You don't want those. It's crawling on me right now. Speaking of,
Now, what about like a tarantula? If you know, because there are tarantulas in Arkansas.
Yes.
And if you were to get one and say you fried it, would that be okay to eat?
well, if you're surviving, if you've got a fryer
Yeah.
with you, hey, you're doing pretty good. But you could roast it over a fire or anything like that.
Yeah, that's
And that was actually one of my photos I didn't know was able to share. People fry and grill tarantula. It just kind of cooks them from the inside. It gets all those little irritating hairs off of them, and then they just munch them down.
I'm gonna try that with the wife. See how she, see what kind of reaction I get with her. I'm gonna have some grilled tarantula tonight, honey. Along Crowley's Ridge Parkway in the St. Francis National Forest at Mississippi River State Park is a well-kept secret, and I do mean a hidden gem, Storm Creek Lake. .425-acre Storm Creek Lake is actually man-made. In 1938, during the Great Depression, the Works Progress Administration, WPA, built Storm Creek Lake and Bear Creek Lake in what is now St. Francis National Forest north of Helena. Storm Creek Lake Recreation Area offers 12 campsites and a day-use area, complete with a nice sandy swim beach and a barrier-free fishing pier. The lake's sport fish include largemouth bass, stripers, bluegill or brim, sunfish, black crappie, and blue and channel catfish, none of which seem to want to get on my hook. Of course, there's also plenty of wildlife that can be spotted throughout St. Francis National Forest: white-tailed deer, raccoon, rabbit, wild turkey, along with a wide variety of other birds, not to mention sunning turtles. Best chances for viewing wildlife are, of course, early morning or late afternoon, early evening. Mississippi River State Park and St. Francis National Forest are located actually along two national scenic byways, the Great River Road and Crowley's Ridge Scenic Byway. Portions of both byways are gravel. To give you an idea how not too well known this place is, we shot this around the 4th of July holiday period. And as you can see, there's nobody out here on this pier fishing. There's not a soul over there at the swim beach, and the parking lot up there is completely empty. I just don't get it. Hopefully, after this airing, more folks will now be aware of Storm Creek Lake, this hidden gem along the Mississippi River Delta. Well, I tell you what, the wonders of Arkansas never cease to amaze me. The Little Grand Canyon is a place that not too many people are aware of, other than the locals, of course. And this unique sandstone shale rock formation is quite unusual for southern Arkansas, to say the least. The Little Grand Canyon area is just off from the northwest shoreline of White Oak Lake, a fine fishing lake, by the way. To get to it from Bluff City, go east on Highway 24 and then turn right onto County Road 332 after the Lake Public Access sign. Take that county road over the dike until it dead ends in the woods. The trail begins on the other side of the parking area. Along the 1/16 mile long trail, there are several side paths off to the left, which will take you to some scenic overlooks of Little Grand Canyon. Exploring all the unique shapes in the rock at the bottom of the canyon is what's so mesmerizing. Makes you just want to walk around and keep looking. The deep, clear pools of water make this quite the popular swimming hole in the summertime with the locals. And no doubt, the different levels of the canyon walls serve as the perfect natural diving platforms. But there's more to the Little Grand Canyon area that we happen to come upon later. Now, down to the left from the parking area, down an embankment, we came upon these footprints. Now, you can decide for yourself, but this, I don't know, this stride is a lot longer than a normal person would walk, so this may be a pretty cool Bigfoot hunting area, I'd say. Yes, indeed. Might be making a return trip. The views atop Petit Jean Mountain near Morrilton are spectacular, to say the least. And this is also the setting for a very special camp, Camp Mitchell.
So in the 1930s, there was young people wanted to meet and have kind of a summer camp experience, and they started meeting at Mather Lodge at Arkansas State Park, Petit Jean State Park, and it wanted a little something more permanent. And the bishop of the Diocese of Arkansas at the time, Bishop R. Bland Mitchell, wanted to kind of move towards something more permanent. And in 1942, he purchased about 80 acres up here for $2,000. And things just evolved from there. They started acquiring more land here, and then raising money through individuals, through churches, getting different donations to get some more structures here at this site. And in 1949, we held our first summer camp here at Camp Mitchell. Our executive council made a decree and they named it Camp Mitchell. And then, yeah, ever since then, we've just been slowly getting more buildings. We started out with just like old Army barracks from Camp Robinson down in North Little Rock. You know, very primitive lodging. Now we have window units in our youth cabins. We've got some retreat spaces now.
Well, I tell you what, that chapel over there, that's probably the most photographed place around here. I mean, people I've seen on Facebook come from all over and take pictures of it.
Yeah, we have to be really careful during summer camp because we want people wanting to come in. They drive by, oh, let's go take a picture. And but yeah, it's very iconic. Our chapel window, that's the Chapel of the Transfiguration. It was built and dedicated in 1955. So that's very very near and dear to us. Our logo is based on that window design. Our biggest ministry is our summer camp ministry. We run 8 weeks of summer camp. 4 traditional youth camps from 1st through 12th grade. We have, this is what we call a focus camp, so creative arts camp. We have, next week will be our Dick Johnston Children's Camp, and that's for youth with incarcerated parents. And we also have 2 sessions for adults with mental and physical deficits. Those are called our Robert R. Brown camps. And yeah, so creative arts camp this week, they're just focusing, each day is focusing on a different art. Today is photography, so they're going around taking photos of different things. We've got fiber arts, theater arts, art and creation. So yeah, it's a smaller, more intimate camp experience for kids who are just wanting to be more creative and just have a quieter camp experience.
And pickle canning, that's my favorite, that's where I'm going.
The agricultural arts. So we have a garden program, and the kids have been collecting, harvesting cucumbers, and so this morning they're gonna, so those who have elected to do so are gonna pickle those.
Number one, I love this place. It's like a home away from home. I've had the same group of guys in my cabin for years. They're like family to me at this point. I love all of them. And I get a lot of personal enjoyment out of coming here, making new friends, meeting new people that you would never really get to meet if you were just walking around. My personal favorite things that I like here are the food, of course. Chef makes some of the best food. I love the chapel time. I love the quiet relaxation, just having fun, relaxing after the end of the day. I love just meeting new people, hanging out. Everybody here is amazing. They're all kind, generous, sweet people that all have the same love for this mountain, and so everybody on this mountain as well.
My dad was a counselor here in college in 1981, and he loved it. And so my brother, I have an older brother, he's 19, and so my brother started coming here when he was in the 2nd grade, and once I got old enough, I came here too. So this is my 9th year. I was actually a co-counselor too this summer, a couple weeks ago, and it's honestly really one of my favorite places in the world. Like, it's just, if you come to our senior high, you can tell we're all like family because you grow up here together, and you create such strong connections. I know I could call any one of my camp friends and they come get me in an instant, which is great because you don't always have that. And I mean, it's beautiful here. We're on the mountain. It's amazing. It's just an amazing place to be.
That it is. So if you like to take pictures, Camp Mitchell atop Petit Jean Mountain near Morrilton is a must-stop. And to view this episode again or any one of our others, visit our website at aetn.org/exploringarkansas. And don't forget to like us on our Facebook fan page. And we'll see you again the next time for another exciting adventure on Exploring Arkansas.